Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. The Pledge of Allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Sarah, can you do roll call, please?
President Bucher,
Here.
Young, Hopkins,
Here.
Gant,
Here.
Faber,
Here.
Polley,
Here.
Barheit. Thank you.
Did we meet open meeting compliance?
Yes, the agendas were posted online and outside of Village Hall on Friday, January 17th.
Trustees, do I have approval of the agenda sequence?
Yes.
All right. We'll go into public comments. Please address the board. There will be no back and forth discussions, and we do have a 3-minute time limit. Carol Reed, please come forward, state your name and address for the record.
My name. President 10-9499 Meadows Road, Waterville, Wisconsin. And I just have a brief statement just to introduce us. But I decided to type it up in case you can't hear me or.
Might have to lower.
Okay, so I'm Carol Reed, like I said, and I'm here with my sister Linda, architect, and my brother is Lynn Shea. And my sister Betsy, right, I'm watching it, I don't know. But she could make, and she doesn't make comments and working on for quite a few. So I just want to tell you why we're here. Our mom passed away in 2023, leaving 1/4 of the farm to each of us. Mom's house is on Highway K at 27-811 60th Street in Salem and is currently on a 115-acre parcel along with farmland. Jim's desire is to continue farming. Jim has been farming this land all his life, and our dad farmed it all his adult life. Linda, Betsy, Jim, and I grew up on the farm, and Jim raised his children there. We would like to sell Mom's house to our niece and her husband. So that'd be Jim's daughter and her husband. We would like to have 5.44 acres separated from the 115-acre parcel of farmland so that we can sell the house to Bailey and Scott Bueller and keep the rest of the parcel to be farmed by Jim. Thank you for your consideration.
Thank you. Okay, we will close public comments and move into president's comments, discussion and possible action on the following. 7.1, accepting applications for boards and commissions with a deadline of March 3rd, 2025. So on the table and also on our website, you can find all the various appointments that are up this year and a description of what all the different boards and commissions do. Anyone who is up for reappointment or who would like to be considered for appointment will need to fill out an application. The deadline is March 3rd, and we will make the appointments at the last meeting in April. 7.2, reschedule, cancel the following village board meetings. The first one is February meetings. I think it's the 3rd. Let me pull up my calendar so everybody can.
Meetings are typically the 1st and 3rd, and we're moving them to the 2nd and the 4th for
Yes.
February and March.
Right, so we're moving them from the 3rd and the 17th to the 10th and the 24th. We want to make sure that that is okay with the board, and do we need to make a motion on that? Okay. All right, so we have a first and a second to move the February meetings to February 10th and 24th. All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay. And the second one would be March 3rd and 17th meetings, to move those to March 10th and 24th.
Motion to approve. Second.
Okay, we have a first and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? All right. And then the last would be to cancel the September 1st meeting due to Labor Day.
I'll make that motion. I'll second.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Aye. All right. All right. Number 8, presentations, petitions, communications, discussion and possible action on the following items. 8.1 amendments to ordinance 2024.12-88 for chapter 159 entitled Economic Development Committee of the Village of Salem Lakes Municipal Code, creating an alternate member and clarifying the terms of office and initial composition.
Motion to approve. Second.
All right. Ramsey, do you want to go through that or would you like me to?
That provision on the alternates is now in section. Where are we?
3.
Yeah, section 3, sub 5. No, sorry, section 2, sub A, sub 5. That the committee shall have one alternate member, that this member will be someone from the plan commission who is not a village board trustee. And the reason for that is so we don't create a quorum issue. And then it provides the provisions that you can see there as to how an alternate member, when they can step in. And it's only when there's an absent. And the other thing was, we kept the staggering of the community citizen stakeholders, but for the initial appointment, you did need to have something in here that indicates how you're going to do it the first time. And so it indicates that the stakeholder appointments will be staggered, where one individual will be appointed for one term and the other will be appointed for a 2-year term for the initial creation of this committee, so that you can get the staggering right from the get-go. I think those were the two primary features we.
And
amended
then
with this.
clarifying the chair term.
That's correct. The chair term has been clarified as well. For I think 2 terms, or am I right, Rita?
Yeah, 2 terms as chair, so you can continue on the committee in a, as a regular position, but only 2 terms as chair. So those were the changes that we had made since we talked about this last month.
That's correct.
Is there any other questions or discussion on this? Okay. We'll do roll call on this one. Jared,
Yes.
Mr. Hopkins,
Yes.
Pete,
Yeah.
Mr. Gant,
Yes.
Mr. Faber,
Yes.
Mr. Barheit,
Yes.
and I'm a yes. Motion carries unanimous. All right, 8.2 appointments to the Economic Development Committee. So all of the applications were loaded to the portal. I don't know if you've had a chance to take a look at those, but I am going to make the following recommendations for you to consider. So the first position is the village president. That is part of the ordinance. The second position would be a trustee for the term of their office. And I only received 1 application on that. And so I recommend Pete Poley as the trustee position. Ramsey, should we vote on these as each or as a whole? Each and roll call, or is just all in favor? Okay. Okay. So I make a motion to appoint Pete Poley to the trustee position on the Economic Development Commission.
I'll second.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Pete, you have to abstain, I think. All righty. Anyone opposed? Great. The third position is a plan commission member. And for that, I would like to appoint Jeff Albrecht and appoint him also to the position of vice chair.
I'll make that motion. Second.
Second.
Hopkins and Gant. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? All right. And the fourth position is a stakeholder position for a term of 2 years from 2025 to 2027. And I am going to recommend Brian Filiatro to that position.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? Great. The fifth position is also a stakeholder position. That is a 1-year term. We had to stagger these. And then from here on out, they will be 2-year terms once once next year comes around. And for that stakeholder position, I would like to recommend Sharon Palmaville.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second that motion.
I'll second it.
Sorry, Pete, it was Hopkins and Young. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? Great. And then the sixth position, which is an alternate position of a plan commission member, also for their term of office. And for that position, I recommend Ross Swartz.
I'll make that motion. I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? Great. Congratulations. Okay, we will move on to the public hearing. 9.1, public hearing on vacating a portion of an unimproved alley between tax parcels 704-120-321-0825 and 704-120-321-0890 Belmar subdivision. For informational purposes only, this alley is located between County Highway C and 117th Street, east of 286th Avenue. And we have to open it up for public hearing, right? Okay. Right. I don't have any instructions on this, so I don't remember how to do it. Sorry.
You're gonna open the public hearing, ask if anybody's here in favor to speak in
Got it.
favor of it
Thanks.
or,
Right.
and then
All right.
against.
Is there anyone here to speak in favor of this item? Is there anyone here to speak in favor of this item? Is there anyone here to speak in favor of this item? Is there anyone here to speak in opposition of this item? Is there anyone here to speak in opposition of this item? Anyone to speak in opposition? All right, with that, I will close the public hearing. And now we need a motion.
I'll make that motion.
Okay.
I'll second it.
So Faber and Gant. Right. To vacate a portion of the unimproved alley between tax parcels 704-120-321-0825 and 704-120-321-0890. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? Oh, sorry. Oh, I do. Got you. All right, well then. We will rescind that motion, sorry. Okay. All right. Number 10, Administrator's Office, discussion and possible action on the following items. 10.1, employee introductions of our Deputy Director of Public Works, Andrew Cry, and Human Resources Coordinator, Shay Demers. Did I say that right? Okay. You guys want to come up and just introduce yourselves and tell us a little bit about yourself? Yeah.
I live in Union Grove, but I worked also in Union Grove about 2.5 years. I have about 17 years customer service experience, pivoted into municipal role. And while I was working in Union Grove, I noticed a need for human resources in municipal work. So I switched my schooling and this opportunity came up while I was going through. So it sounded exciting. I've met everyone. I've been here about a month and you got a great team, a lot of good energy. So I can't wait to see where we grow. And thanks for letting me work with you guys.
Great. Nice to meet you.
My name is Andy Cry. I got hired on as the Deputy Director of Public Works. I live in Brighton, so not too far north here. And I came from the Village of Summers, and then previously from that, I was at the Village of Pleasant Prairie. I am currently enrolled in my last semester at Gateway for my civil engineering diploma, and I'll be continuing education past that as well. I'm excited to be here and excited to continue doing the good things you guys are doing. So
Thank you.
Thanks, Andy.
Okay. 10.2, review and possible approval of the Andrea and Orndorff LLP engagement agreement for accounting services for 2025 for an estimated cost of $24,200.
All right, thank you. So we have been using this accounting firm for quite some time. They provide a lot of really great services to Amanda. She can give you a good rundown of everything that they do with her. But they do help us prep for our audit. They also help us to make sure all of our accounting is in order. Go ahead, Amanda, tell a little bit more about what they do.
We've worked with A&O for many a years, so they're very familiar with the village and their financials. Recently, Andrea did retire, but they've left us some really great replacements. Any questions I have, they're very quick, they're very nice and very easy to work with. They also help us with anything like employee WRS reconciliation. They're familiar with that, and they work with a lot of other municipalities around here as well as Kenosha County. So
Okay.
Their engagement agreement was included and it is very robust. It tells you a lot more detail about all the different services they provide the village. I've been here for a year now and I will tell you, I've enjoyed working with them. They're very prompt, they're thorough, and they're easy to work with. So.
I'll make a motion to approve the agreement with Andrea and Orndorff LLP for $24,200. I'll second it.
Okay, so we have first and a second. Is there any questions or comments from the board? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, aye. Anyone opposed? Great, motion carries. Number 11, Treasurer's Office, discussion and possible action on the following items. 11.1, approval of vouchers in the amount of $841,136.14 for December 1st, 2024 through December 31st, 2024.
Make that motion to approve.
I will second that. Any questions or comments?
I got a few questions.
Yep.
53106, office furniture. You have two offices, where did they go?
that was for the administrator and the clerk.
Yes,
Did we kill them the last time?
we killed the whole, right?
Mhm. These
Um,
were purchased from
We
a
needed
discount.
another desk because we took on a human resources person, so Sarah had to move into a new space and did not have a desk. And Cassandra's desk was in very poor shape, so
Hmm.
that is why.
And 53105, dues and subscriptions. We're like way over what we had originally budgeted for.
What department is that for?
530105, is that right, the number you wanted?
No, like 10, 45, 50.
To be dues and subscriptions.
Okay. I don't have it in front of me, so I really can't
It
speak on
was
it.
like $6,900 is what we budgeted and
Mhm.
it came out to almost 15,000.
It's probably a conglomeration of all of the clerk and treasurer and the administrator, all part of these different organizations.
So we had something extra.
Yeah, they're added. Yeah,
So we got that budgeted for next year then, so we kept close to that.
correct.
Everything is correctly budgeted for 2025.
Then I take it, well, the other ones are just pretty close. Let me see. Part-time wages, is that 51,101 part-time wages? We're up 321%. Is that the fire department?
Correct.
Okay. And community days, that went way over budget. We got that ready for next year. We can figure
Correct.
something out with that.
Mhm.
All right. Those are mine.
All right, so we have a first and a second. Any other questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
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 Anyone opposed? Okay, 11.2 Treasurer's Report.
So for you guys, I just kind of did a wrap up of the year, and added that revenue and expenditure report. The 2 pages I just wanted to touch on were a couple of the last pages. So the revenue and expenditure report, we're pretty close to budget. We're like 7.8, but that's just for the 10 fund, our general fund. So I also gave you a total for all funds, which is 8.4. Those numbers will change a little bit because of the audit coming up and last minute invoices getting put into the system. Other things going on in treasurer's world, we're collecting property taxes until the 31st of January. We just paid out our January tax settlement to school districts, water, lake districts, and the county, and that was about that was 6.3 million. So you guys are gonna see a really big voucher report for January, and then there's also another one in February at the end of the month. So in January, we did collect 8.7 million taxes, and then obviously they were distributed to everybody. For right now, just chugging along, and we have our audit coming up at the end of February. What's nice about our auditors is we submit all documents beforehand. And then after that, they're just here for like maybe a day to go over a couple things. So they have a lot of that time to look at everything beforehand. So if they do have any questions, we can assist with that. So that's it for me. Any questions? Thanks.
Thank you. Number 12, Clerk's Office, discussion and possible action on the following. 12.1, approval of minutes from the December 16th, 2024 Village Board meeting.
Motion to approve.
Hawkins in favor. Any questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? Okay, and 12.2, Clerk's Office update.
So I just wanted to give you guys a little bit of update from the clerk's office. We will have a primary election. There will be no local or county races on that election, but there will be a race for the state superintendent of public instruction. So like our smaller elections, we'll have one polling location with all 3 reporting units here at the Village Hall. So everybody will come here to vote in February, and then we'll go back to elections as normal in April for the bigger election. I also wanted to give a brief update. I know I had said we were looking into FOIA requests and open records. So far, we've applied to the state to formally adopt the general records schedule for the Wisconsin municipal and related records schedule that the state has. In the past, we have adapted that, and that's what we've used going forward. However, some of our paper trails aren't as complete as we had hoped. So we reapplied at the suggestion of the state that that's the cleanest way to do it. So they only meet quarterly. So I'm kind of waiting for them to get back to me. And then I'm going to be working with Remzi and the village attorney's office to update our ordinances in regards to custodian of records. Currently, our ordinances state that I am the custodian of all the records. Well, with the size of our municipality and as much as we've grown, certain departments should be in charge of their own records and all funneled probably through the clerk's office and have a more streamlined open records process. So I'm currently working on all of that. With the general election, I was kind of busy, so I'm hoping that I can get more information to you guys here in the near future, but I wanted to at least give you that update.
Okay.
Thank you.
And are we trying to, for the most part, do these electronically so it keeps costs down? Is that what we're trying to do?
Correct. Since I started, I haven't had any paper requests. Everything has been done electronic.
Okay. Great. Thank you. Does anyone have any questions? No? All right. Go on to 13, planning and zoning, discussion and possible action on the following. 13.1, ordinance 2025.01-89, and ordinance adopting an amendment to the land use plan maps 23, 24, and 25 for the village of Salem Lakes on tax parcel 704-120-042-0210, located in the north 1/2 of section 4, township 1 north, range 20 east, village of Salem Lakes, from A1 agricultural preservation and PEC primary environmental corridor to A1 PEC and R1 countryside single family residential. For informational purposes only, this parcel is located on the south side of 60th Street, County Highway K, approximately 1/2 mile west of an unnamed private road, Duck Pond subdivision.
Motion to approve.
I'll second it.
Okay, Hopkins and Gant, is there any questions or comments? Brad?
Nope, the applicant spoke earlier during citizen comments. The plan commission recommended approval, and that is staff's recommendation also.
Okay. Anyone? All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion carries. 13.2. Ordinance 2025.01-90, an ordinance amending the zoning map for the village of Salem Lakes on tax parcel 704-120-042-0210 from A1 Agricultural Preservation District, C2 Upland Conservancy District, and C1 Lowland Resource Conservancy District to A1, C1, C2, and R1 Rural Residential District.
Motion to approve. Second.
Okay, so we have Hopkins in favor. Anything to add on that, Brad?
Same applicants are here. Speak in favor of plan commission recommended approval, and so does staff.
Any questions or comments from the board? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion carries. 13.3, resolution 2025.01-120. A resolution conditionally approving a certified survey map dated July 23rd, 2024 by Mark A. Bullender of Ambit Land Surveying to create one 5.01 acre parcel and dedicate 60 feet of right of way from tax parcel 704-120-042-0210.
I'll second that motion.
Okay, so Faber and Young, any questions or comments from the
Yep.
board?
I do have a question. It's, we put 5.44 down and it says 5.01.
The dedication of right of way difference.
So it's all good, not too many
It's-
problems. All right.
It's all
that was
good.
it.
Okay. Brad, do you have anything else to add on that?
Nope, same as before.
All right. All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Number 14, Public Works, discussion and possible action on the following items. 14.1, vacating a portion of an unimproved alley between tax parcels 704-120-321-0825 and 704-120-321-0890 Valmar subdivision for informational purposes only. This alley is located between County Highway C and 117th Street, east of 286th Avenue.
Motion to approve.
I'll second it.
All right,
This is the item you held a public hearing for earlier.
thanks. I didn't put two and two together. All right, all in favor?
I have one.
Oh,
I
sorry.
have one question on this. Brad, did we not go far enough about a year, 2 years ago when we vacated a portion of this alleyway?
This one includes another neighbor. The previous one included just the owner of Wisconsin Style Barbecue. He owned both sides of the alley. This one now includes Wisconsin Style Barbecue and the owner of parcels on the north side. So it's involving a second
Thank you.
parcel.
They split it.
Yes.
Any other questions?
Nope.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Anyone opposed? Motion carries. 14.2, final payment request number 5 in the amount of $64,736.66. And change order number 2 in the amount of $53,051.66 from Always Contractors, Inc. Brad, can you tell us what that was for? Sorry.
This is the final payment request. The original contract was for $870,648. We saw $33,103.39 in savings and quantity reductions. We had a change order number 1 for an increase of $525. That was for mailboxes that we could not spare throughout the whole process, replacing those. And change order number 2 is $53,051.66, and that is for 402 feet of 18-inch cured in place lining by the Matthias Academy that we discovered while televising that line. And total contract amount comes out to $891,121.27. Staff's recommendation is for approval.
Motion to approve. Second.
Okay, so we have a first and a second. Do we have any questions? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Number 15, Fire Department. 15.1, Chief's year-end report. Ryan, do we have this to put up on the screen?
Good evening, Board, Madam President.
Hi.
Want to give you a brief, kind of a synopsis of what we did together last year. It was our first year together as a leadership team, and we learned quite a bit of ebb and flow and helping to develop our department. In 2024, I think you had the annual summary put in your portal. I want to bring your attention to the run number summary primarily. We were up roughly 3 to 4% over last year at a grand total of 1,835 runs for the village. Of that, Salem Lakes managed 67% of those calls. Paddock Lake was 23%, and Brighton was 4% of that call volume. There was an additional 5.5%, kind of an anomaly of mixed things outside of our district, mutual aid calls and things of that nature. With most fire services these days, the majority of the calls were EMS, both advanced life support, basic life support. The remainder were 9% fire calls, 17% non-fire calls, which could be anything from medical assist to a gas line break or things like that. And then there was 4% of other, what we classify as other calls, perhaps calls for service to other communities, requests for mutual aid. We were unable to provide it because we were busy. An interesting note is over 350 times last year, we had overlapping calls where we would have a call on top of a call on top of a call, and basically taxing our ability to do what we do. That seems to be an ongoing trend in our community. Can't really figure out why, but one for us is always 3 calls. It's happened today, in fact. Going forward in 25, however, our focus is going to be on enhancing our training, developing our staff further, bringing more opportunity to our people, and trying to enhance and professionalize our department to the highest level that we're able to do so. This board has been extremely supportive and helpful and also educational. There's a great deal that we've learned together on how to do this job. I'm new at it, and we're increasing our ability to serve in the most appropriate manner. Cold night out, folks are working hard. We're ready to go.
Chief, how are we doing on staffing?
It has improved significantly. We have consistently operated 2 firehouses 24 hours with a minimum of 3 to 7 people, actually 4 in each firehouse, 8 on duty a day. And we're maintaining that. We're also, with the support of our part-time staff, able to minimize some of the overtime. That's improved dramatically, which in fact relates to lower and quicker response times out the door to calls.
I just want to add one thing. So the West Side EMS initiative that you all approved the MOU for, we have gotten signatures from Twin Lakes, Wheatland, Randall, and then ourselves, and we're just waiting on Paddock Lake. When Al talks about how we have sometimes 3 calls in a row overlapping, we're having to call for mutual aid because we can't get to all those calls. We have to call in service sometimes. When we get the West Side initiative up and running, we're still waiting on Paddock Lake to sign, but as long as they sign, we will be able to operationalize that in 2026. That will help us to minimize the need to call for mutual aid when we have 2 or 3 calls going back to back or consecutively. So just wanted to throw that out there so everybody is aware we are still working towards that. We're just waiting for the final partner to hopefully come on board.
Very professional report. I think it looks great. Can you talk a little bit about the new training series that you implemented?
Yes, ma'am. One of the things we're trying to do, and what we tried to do from the beginning, is reinvigorate the culture of the fire department. We're a very diverse group of people, from veterans to young people. They bring forward to the department different cultural views, different perspectives. And what we're trying to do is maintain a level of traditionalism in the fire service that's been around for over 100 years. And yet, at the same time, allow people to feel valued, welcomed, and a part of something bigger than themselves. One of the ways that we're trying to address that is through a program called the Hero Series. That may have kind of a corny or cheesy sound to it, but what we're doing is we're introducing outside perspectives on the job, the values of the job, the culture of the job, the history, the sacrifices, and many of the things that we're asked to do and why we do them as a group. Our first representative that came in, our first speaker, was retired Deputy District Chief Chiakarotas from Chicago Fire Department. As we go forward, we have commitments from other notable people in the fire and rescue industry. We're also attempting to bring in outside instructors. And the purpose of this is I could tell somebody something over and over and over and over again. If I have an outside agent that comes in and says, you know what, you guys are doing great work, and here's why you're doing it, it's inspiring to hear it from somebody else. So our goal ultimately is to make them understand why they're here, why they're serving the community, and what it is that they're sacrificing and committing. And part of that is getting them to understand it and to see it. It's fun to have the rigs, and it's cool to go on calls, and the shirts and the clothing's fun, but we're in a much bigger project than a lot of folks are aware of. So they come to us, and we're trying to inspire them, give them some empowerment, make them feel valued, and at the same time, recognize the need to the community. We have a commitment from the Chief of Milwaukee Fire Department coming up very shortly to come down and speak to our people. We're working on some notable sports entities to come in and do this. And it's important to note that everybody that we've brought in so far, and the ones that we have commitment from, are doing this for free. They're doing it because they believe in what we're doing. They're doing it because they want to share the message to the youth and help them to get better at what they do. So, we'll throw a meal out. People come down. hear a good message and hopefully get more inspired to be part of the organization. You know, finding and searching for ways to touch them and make them become more of the organization. So, and at the same time, we welcome input. If you have ideas or suggestions, we're very welcome to hear that.
I think that's great.
Chief, commend you for what you're doing and what you're building. Another question I have for you is, how is the baby box initiative going?
It's stagnant at the moment. It's stalled because we're waiting on a part, believe it or not. Like everything else, we're waiting on a part. We have the box in-house, we have the location selected, we have the vendor selected, we have commitments from people who are going to do it free. And right now we're waiting on a part, which is very frustrating.
Hmm.
Yeah, so
Thank you.
we're struggling to get it in there. We're as anxious as anybody to get it up and running.
And that's gonna be the third in the state, I believe.
Yes, sir.
Can you give us an update on Station 2?
Station 2 is up and running on a regular basis. We maintain Station 2 with a minimum of 4 people per day. We're able to run an ambulance out of that house. We provide fire and rescue services out of there. And as far as everything is concerned right now, we're continuing that schedule. We don't foresee any changes unless there are outside influences that change it outside of our control. But right now, we're able to operate 2 firehouses with minimum staffing 24/7.
And how many openings for paramedics do you have?
We'll always take paramedics. Right now, we're at full capacity as far as for full-time staff.
And what about the updates to Station 2?
Provide one update. I just received the warranty deed today from Ramsey. So
Hey,
the
thank you.
Station 2 has been officially transferred to the village. So thank you very much to the Salem Lakes Volunteer Fire Association for the transfer. And then as far as the updates to the facility, we are working on ensuring that we have 3 competitive quotes so that we can bring those to the board for approval. We'll pick of course, the best quality bid to be able to update the facility. We have made some updates to it already, just because there were some living updates that were necessary, like new mattresses
Hot
and
water.
fixing some basic plumbing issues. So that there are some things that we did do immediately to make the facility livable, but there are many other things that need to be done as well.
Okay. And when do you think that you'll be bringing those to the board and trying to get those going?
Our goal is to have something at the next month's meeting.
Okay.
That's our goal.
Great. Again, thank you for coming on. I know you had quite a challenge, but I've heard all good things from the community and from people within the fire department. So I can't thank you enough.
Thank you. We have a great team and it wouldn't be possible without your continued support. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. We will move on to number 16, information technology, discussion and possible action on the following. 16.1, implementation of Pipe Tech Inspect software for televising truck in the amount of $9,095 with a recurring cost of $7,510.
Motion to approve.
Brian, can you tell us about this and tell us, is the recurring cost a yearly fee?
Yes, it's an annual fee. It's actually 2 separate items. There's a cloud subscription for the Pipe Tech Hub, which gives the ability of our staff to upload that and automatically works with the engineers that they can get that immediately. So I think it's almost 50-50 split between the regular software updates and then the subscription to that hub as well.
Okay.
And that works into integrating with GIS in our village GIS account and gives us some flexibility with other GIS options later with different softwares.
Okay. Any questions from the board?
Is this a 1-year contract, right? 12 months, okay.
Yep.
I see it now.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion carries. I make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Thanks, bro.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, anyone opposed? We're adjourned.
That was a quick one.